Something weird is happening with work right now. And I think a lot of people can feel it, even if they can't quite explain it. You can have a job and still feel nervous about losing it. You can spend months looking for work and wonder why nobody is calling you back. You can see companies advertising positions everywhere, while hearing people say they have applied to hundreds of them without getting anywhere. It feels like the job market is stuck in some strange waiting room. And maybe the strangest part is that nobody really knows what they're supposed to do. For years, the advice was pretty simple. Get experience, improve your resume, learn new skills, work hard, network, apply to more places. But what happens when people are doing all of that and still getting nowhere? You send an application into a website and never hear anything again. You rewrite your resume, you change the keywords, you make a new LinkedIn profile, you apply for another 20 jobs. Silence. Eventually, you start wondering whether anybody is actually looking at these applications. Technology was supposed to make finding a job easier. Instead, sometimes it feels like it built a giant wall between workers and employers. Companies can receive enormous piles of applications almost instantly. Applicants can send resumes to dozens of companies without ever speaking to another human being. Everybody is connected. Nobody is talking. And now, AI is entering the picture. Workers are using AI to write resumes and cover letters. Employers are using software and AI to sort through applicants. Recruiters are trying to figure out which applications are genuine. Applicants are trying to figure out how to get through automated screening. We have somehow turned getting a job into a technological arms race. Meanwhile, the people who already have jobs aren't necessarily feeling comfortable either. A lot of workers seem to be holding on to what they have because changing jobs suddenly feels risky. Even people who hate their jobs may look around and think, maybe I should stay here a little longer. That's a completely different atmosphere from a world where people feel confident enough to walk away and find something better. And that matters because work isn't just about money. Your job determines where you can live, whether you can pay your rent, whether you can make plans, whether you can take somebody out to dinner without checking your bank account first. It affects almost everything. When people stop feeling confident about work, they start becoming cautious about life. Maybe you don't move. Maybe you don't buy the car. Maybe you don't start the business. Maybe you don't leave the job you hate. Maybe you don't take the risk. And slowly, millions of individual decisions like that can change the entire mood of society. That's what I find fascinating about this moment. People aren't necessarily giving up on work. They're questioning the deal. They're looking at the amount of effort required just to get an interview and wondering whether something about the system has become unnecessarily complicated. Because finding a job shouldn't feel like trying to trick an algorithm into noticing you. There should still be room for personality, judgment, potential, somebody taking a chance on somebody else. Human beings aren't keywords. They're not resumes. They're not productivity scores. They are people trying to build lives. Maybe this strange phase of the job market eventually passes. Maybe hiring picks up again and people start feeling confident enough to move around. But I think something deeper has already changed. People have seen how quickly the relationship between workers, companies, and technology can shift. And once you have seen that, it's difficult to go back to believing that a job automatically equals security. Maybe the biggest change happening in the job market isn't how companies hire people. Maybe it's how many people are beginning to realize that the old promise of work doesn't feel quite as certain anymore.